Welcome back to another episode of Lawyer Up Into the Right. Cesar, I don't even know how to begin this because I would say over the last month, the agency model has changed dramatically due to AI. When ChatGPT first came out a couple years ago, it was like, oh, this is cool. This is really cool. But what we're experiencing now in terms of the adoption curve, we're starting to hit that hockey stick of AI learning, growing, and being able to do things that were only previously imaginable. And it's become such a core focus of our business and what we're doing for clients. And I want to take some time, because this is a show for attorneys, to really discuss AI, because when I talk about AI with prospects or some clients, they're kind of like, ew, like AI is a dirty word, like that's cheap. And I think that so many lawyers have been conditioned by the traditional agencies to think that AI is a shortcut. It produces what we'd like to call slop in the industry. But the fact is that it doesn't. And if you're not leveraging this technology right now, if you're not working with a partner who's leveraging this technology, one, you're falling behind at a rate that I haven't seen in 20 years of experience doing this. Like it's not hyperbole. It's a fact. The stuff that we're seeing AI doing right now from a workflow point of view is amazing. And then also too, it really brings up the question, and I hate this as a business owner, but like, why are you paying so much for something that can be done better and faster by this technology in the hands of people who know what they're doing? Cesar, we're going to talk about some use cases and how we're doing this right now in the transition that we're making. And on a lot of these following episodes, we'll go into deep kind of use cases for like SEO and paid ads and stuff like that. I just want to kind of start having the conversation about this because I think that, again, there's such a misunderstanding of what AI can and should be doing right now. The way that I broach this with our team internally is that this is not a push button solution to go out and write 100 pages of content, right? Like what I'm not saying that you should or somebody should be doing is like going to Claude or ChatGPT and saying, hey, can you write us 100 blog posts about personal injury law? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that from a workflow point of view, right? So when you have an existing process that you do multiple times over and over again, something like optimizing a Google business profile or something like coming up with like a technical strategy and audit, the things that we're now seeing Claude specifically be able to do are things that I haven't seen in 20 years and things that used to take us a month, 6 weeks to do, and also relied on human error. So Cesar, as our head of SEO, head of search, how are you starting to apply this to your work? Just talk to me a little about what you're seeing in terms of day-to-day and applying this technology and how you're leveraging it, how you're using it. Yeah, and just talk to me in terms of...
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is upscaling from using AI as just something that you chat with, which is what most people are using. When they think AI, they're thinking, I go to ChatGPT, I go to Gemini, I type in a question, and it's sort of like a quasi Google search. It's just maybe a little more personalized. But what we're talking about here is leveraging what AI can do, the agentic nature of it being able to actually do things, not just tell you what the temperature is, but actually going through a workflow and doing stuff that would take a human because of our limitations. We have to eat, we have to sleep, we get tired, we get distracted. So something that would take us, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 hours to do, we're talking less than an hour. I don't know if we'll get into it today, but eventually we'll talk about an audit, one of our foundational audits that takes me as someone experienced that has done it hundreds of times at this point. It still takes me a good 5 hours to sit down and do it. We're getting to the point where it's being done in less than an hour.
And on that too, because this is pushback that I get, Cesar, when I talk to people about this specifically on calls, and I'm gonna walk through what this looks like. I think it's important that you see what this looks like in practice so you can kind of wrap your head around. Context is everything. What I tell prospects now, Cesar, is that is amazing for a lot of reasons, right? For some reason, maybe because lawyers work on a billable hour, that's kind of the industry. And I just think that you lawyers have also been so conditioned, sold to by a lot of agencies that overcharge, underdeliver. Those agencies are trying to protect their business model. We're being very honest about what's happening here. This is changing the business model. And if we're not getting ahead of it, then we're falling behind. But what this allows from the end user client benefit is now, Cesar, instead of working with a junior person who has little to no experience, right? They're working directly with, Cesar's a partner in our company. Cesar has equity in this company and you are able to work directly with him because his workflow is sped up so much. He's able to focus more now on strategy and communication. What was the saying that you had, Cesar, before we came on that you had seen somebody talk about AI?
Yeah, just something that I saw recently. I can't remember who it was, otherwise I'd credit the person, but it was was something to the effect of, what AI has done is made the easy stuff free. And what you're now paying us for is the hard stuff, is the strategy, is the thing that takes that human interaction that sits in the middle and understands what levers to pull and understands where to deploy AI and how to use it. Because otherwise, if you just let it run amok and not have any sort of oversight and not have any sort of control or guardrails, it can become dangerous. And I think some of the concerns that you're hearing are legitimate concerns if it's not used appropriately. Just being able to speed up the workflow and just getting keyword research, it's almost like we're talking about it like the typewriter.
Yeah.
in terms of where we were even a year ago.
And I think the way that I liken it to, Cesar, is like when you say that it's dangerous, it's not dangerous like it's going to take over your computer and steal your identity. It's dangerous in the fact that it produces garbage, right? And that is such a key point here, because a lot of pushback that I hear too is it's like, oh, well, if everyone's going to be using this, isn't everything just going to be garbage? And that was my initial thought too. I was like, oh man, everything's going to get commoditized, but subject matter expertise is so important. And I'm going to show you an example. So over here, Cesar, what I have is a prompt for a prospect that I've been pitching now for a couple of months. And I get it. They were like, this is a great presentation you put together here for us, Ryan. But like, we've seen this before, right? Like what is it that you're doing differently? And can you talk to me about expected outcomes, right? So like a forecasting exercise, right? And I was like, yeah, if you can get me access to your data, I can pull it and do an analyzer. Like, we can't give you access to our data, put something together. Like, okay, say less, I got you. We've built a tool, Cesar, internally called the traffic projection tool. You can go to trafficprojection.com. You'll see the tool. It's a tool that took us about a year to develop, takes about 20 minutes to set up and run, and it builds SEO forecasts, right? Now, you could come to Claude, right? And I'm just going to break down, there's 3 elements of Claude 2. There's Chat, Cowork, and Claude Code. Claude Code is if you're building kind of like your own piece of software, which we have done. We use all this stuff, but I'm just showing you Claude Chat and just at its simplest, rawest form. The reason why subject matter expertise is so important in terms of delivering something that is generic, meaningless slop versus what I'm going to show you the outcome, which is highly tangible and impactful, is because I built software in the past that did exactly this. So I know exactly what the end result should look like, right? Combined with the fact that I've been doing legal marketing now for 10 years, right? So the prompt that I gave it here was to build a forecast for a client, right? And again, a lot of people just come in, they're like, hey, write me a blog post, and like they're done. No, you can then look at it, right? You can open and it gives you a preview of it, you can take a look at it. And then I reprompt and reprompt and reprompt and reprompt because I know what this end result should look like, right? It's kind of like with design where it's like, hey, I come in and I build me a new website. It can do that for you, but it's going to look like it just is. It just is. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but like, if you don't have the eye of a designer, all this is doing is it's speeding things up. It's making things more accessible, but that doesn't mean that you're an expert on this stuff, right? So that, I think, Cesar, is a big distinction, is the subject matter level expertise in being able to look at this over and over and over again and be like, no, like this chart is wrong. Change this to this. Let's change the conversion rate, see what this looks like. And this is what it ended up producing for us. So this is a forecasting report that honestly, again, I'm so excited about this stuff because I've spent more time and money on this than any person probably in the history of SEO forecasting. That's not hyperbole again, like I'm telling you. And for it to be able to do this, it's better than the tool that I built. It's faster and it's very good, right? So what we're looking at here is I have this broken down in 3 sections. I have local SEO forecasting, right? So this is all the locations that this law firm has, pulling through all the reviews that they have. Mind you, the software can do that. It can go find, I didn't even have to tell it, right? It finds the locations, finds a number of reviews, and then puts together some 12-month and 24-month targets. So how does it build those targets? Well, it's based on internal data. So we fed it reports, we fed it access to analytics, to all of our stuff, where it can kind of like look at that data and understand what a forecasting should look like based on our past performance, right? So the amount of data that we feed this stuff to, the better that it gets. That's another big key thing here too. Subject matter expertise and access to data, right? You're going to hire us in 2 to 4 years because all we do is work with law firms, right? So we have access to data, and our AI and our agents are trained just like our people are trained, but the speed at which this is happening now is much faster and it's much more agile, right? So we have local SEO forecasting here. We're showing them review forecasting, visibility in terms of percentage growth in the Google Maps pack. Then we have traditional SEO stuff here broken down by kind of like different tranches within the campaign. And it goes through and it gives lead forecasting and signed case forecasting, right? So we're giving it inputs to look at conversion rates on the website based on experience, right? Conversion rates for intake based on experience from having worked with injury law firms. We know what a general intake conversion rate looks like from search leads. organic traffic growth projected, keyword rankings, and then Facebook ads too, right? So based on the current spend that we're proposing, different phases of the campaign, and it shows them what they can expect as a cost per lead and a cost per case. And then all of them put together here into a forecasting exercise showing them traffic, total reviews, leads, signed cases over a period of time. Like, again, Cesar, like to me, you know, as an attorney, you might be looking at this and being like, yeah, I don't know, this looks like a lot of data, it looks cool, but like, I don't really know what this looks like, but take it from me, trust me. Trust me, from somebody who's been doing this forever and has, like, for me to be able to build this in 20 to 35 minutes, it's incredible. Like it's truly, truly incredible. And where the technology is now, like I said, we're finally at that point. I can feel it, like at the hockey stick growth, where it's like, no, this is different now, right? Like this isn't just going to ChatGPT and having it like do some really cool and interesting stuff. The workflow capability of this, and this is only the basic part of Claude, right? This is only the basic chat feature. This isn't Claude Cowork, where you can build agents, right? That are repeatable. And then Claude Code, which is building agents, but then also basically turning it into internal software. So like where this is going, right? When you're thinking about agencies in the future as a lawyer, is you should be asking not just like, hey, how to use AI, right? And I guarantee you most agencies out there be like, oh, like we don't really use it because like it's better to write content by hand. Why are they saying that? Why are they saying that, Cesar? Because they want to charge you more. And because they are conditioning you to say like, oh, like you can write, it's better to write content by hand. Google doesn't care about that. Google will be if you go to ask a Google engineer, they'd be like, oh, we lost the battle on AI content years ago. So what we started doing is just burying it in the SERPs. People don't click on it anymore. They don't read it. People don't read anymore. They get all their news from TikTok. So like Google's moving to their own AI, Gemini, Nano Banana, like that's the future of Google, not search, right? So you should be asking the agency, how are you leveraging AI internally? What are you using it for? Can you show me your agent stack? That's a very important one. Show me your stack of agents that you're using on our campaign or that you're planning to use on our campaign. Why is that important? Because it's essentially like saying, show me the employees that are going to be working on our campaign and what they know, and you can actually see what they know. And it's cool if you sit down with us and have a consultation with us right now. I can show that to you. I can show you the output while we're on the call together, right? The reporting, the workflow automation, just all this different stuff that we're doing with it now. We've basically taken every single process that we have internally and we're building it through these workflows. And the more we use it, the better that it gets. It's
what I would add to that is it's all about expertise. So one of the natural questions that may come up if you're an attorney or in any business for that matter is, well, why would I pay someone to do it? Why don't I just sit down for 20 minutes and bang out an SEO report or whatever the case is? But the reason why it takes you 20 minutes and the reason, more importantly, why it's accurate and why it's trustworthy is because of your expertise, because the amount of time and knowledge that you have. Because the thing with AI that you really have to be careful is that it doesn't tell you when it's wrong. And you have to push back a lot of times and tell it, you know what? No, this is wrong. It'll then say something like, oh yeah, you're right, I didn't think of it that way. You know, it's programmed in a way to always be agreeable. So if it's giving you wrong information and you're not correcting it, then at the end, the end product is going to be 100% wrong. So you still need someone who has subject matter expertise on the other end of using this AI. And what we're doing, just to put it simply, is we're downloading our brains into the AI. I'm creating a version of myself that doesn't have to eat, that doesn't have to sleep, that doesn't get tired, that doesn't get sick, that doesn't get bored. So something that would naturally take me 5 to 10 hours to do, this AI, with the knowledge that I've given it and the guardrails that I've given it, can now do that in an hour. Yeah. So it's freeing up 9 hours of my time.
And just to be clear too, right? Like you might hear that and be like, okay, like, so if it's taking 10% of the time to do it, doesn't that mean we should pay 10%? Your thought process isn't wrong. Now, I hate saying it, because this is my business we're talking about here, but this is going to put a downward pressure on pricing for agencies, which is good for y'all on the lawyer side of it. But that also doesn't mean that you're only spending 1 hour on that. Because like we look at something like, again, a report that I just showed you, for example, if you're going to run that by hand, there's going into the tools, putting it in, downloading the data, putting it into a database or a spreadsheet, VLOOKUPing until your fingers are raw, right? Then you're also limited by the table that it is. Like, and there's just limitations to doing it that way, right? So we're talking about speeding up the time to do it, which is amazing. But then also like the analysis is really where you cut your teeth, because again, eventually it's going to get to a point where everyone is going to be basically selling you on their agent stack, you know? And like, you're going to want to work with us because like hey, we have 10 years of experience and work with 250 personal injury attorneys. So like we have access to proprietary data because of the spend, the performance, just the human knowledge, but also the agent and data knowledge that we've collected over time. But also, again, like you're going to be now paired working directly with high level experts, subject matter expertise, that this is all that we do, right? The 9 hours saved creates more time for analysis and communication is really what it comes down to, right? This has been such a priority for us internally. I've had so many conversations with this already. I, told Cesar, I was like, we got to start talking about this on our YouTube channel because the legal industry tends to lag behind a little bit. I'm friends with all the, the big agency owners, and like the way that they're doing and pitching things like SEO, it's quite frankly just archaic. And you're paying such a massive premium for it to be done that way. And that's the conversation that needs to be had too. Like you're not getting better results because a human's doing it. You're just not.
I look at it like we're becoming more in line with what a fractional CMO would do versus a SEO vendor.
Yeah.
We're not sitting here going over deliverables like, we delivered 10 blog posts this month and 5 links. I mean, that's just ridiculous. If that's still the way that your agency or whoever you're paying is presenting, what they're doing at the end of the month, they're far behind the times.
Yeah, super far behind. All right, well, let's wrap there, Cesar, because I think we're going to be doing a lot of these, and we'll be getting, like I said, very specific into use cases. The more that we build in here, the more that we're going to share. We're just really trying to start changing the narrative a little bit because I don't want to charge less. It's not my goal here, but this is such a big shift that I think trying to bury your head in the sand about it, it's irresponsible, and you're going to get swept away in the tide. You just are. And we're not talking about like internal operations in AI, which is going to have a massive impact on the legal space. We're talking about just your marketing and advertising right now. And it's happening right now. It's not happening tomorrow. It's not happening in a year from now. It's happening yesterday. So that's all we got. Again, we'll be back again soon, talk more about this stuff. Drop us a comment if there's anything that you want to see, any topics you want to hear. If not, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next time.